on. So first part, does anyone have any like time constraints or anything? Troy?
I'm on overtime.
Yeah, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
I heard that.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm glad you can stop by. Yeah, just in case anyone has any time constraints, usually these demos take about an hour, hour and a half. First 40, 45 minutes is just me kind of explaining all the scenarios, the system itself, showing you all the features and everything. And the last part of it is just me kind of turning it over to you guys so you can get behind the system and play with it. This is a very user-friendly system. It's got to be cop-proof, as we call it and everything, so anyone can just kind of walk up and just sit there and click around and play with it. Now, you kind of saw the setup portion, which does take a little bit of training and know-how. That's why we come out and we show you how to run this thing properly and also how to set it up properly. So that's part of the whole package that we sell. So when you do buy a system from us, it is a start-to-finish thing. So after the sale, I'm constantly bugging you guys to do the updates and stuff like that, get the new scenarios, because we're making about 60 new ones every year. So we always want you guys to have the freshest software and the scenario content, because again, it's always based off of what's happening in the news and what has happened in real life, and we want you guys to be current as well. So just like what happened in California a couple days ago with that shooting at the bar and stuff like that, torture event. So you might look at that and try to recreate a scenario, kind of make it tailored to that, so we can kind of see everything that happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So now what you're seeing here is the Milo Range Advanced system. This is kind of our mid-level system that we offer for law enforcement. This is kind of like the best bang for your buck. This one's $25,000 right out the door. It does come with 2 dry fire pistols, 1 flashlight, and 1 OC canister right here. That's kind of what Sergeant Carl was kind of interested in initially, but I know we spoke a little bit about the theater systems, which I'll show you as well, because you guys are interested in the 180. So I'll show you. I got pictures and everything. I'll show you all that. So the thing to remember on these systems, they all come with the same amount of software and scenarios. So when you buy a system, you're buying everything that all the systems have. It's just the features that kind of, when you go up in price, you'll see different features added. Such as like if you go up in price from our base system, which is the Milo Classic for $15,000, it does not have the flashlight option where you can turn all the scenarios into low light or no light scenario. So that's the one downside of that. Plus for law enforcement, because you guys have working in non-daylight hours and you go into buildings that are with the lights off, you got to use a flashlight every now and then. So you want to incorporate that into the training. Also, this system right here can track 8 different lasers firing at the same time, same as that Theater 180 system that you guys are interested in. What that means is you can have 8 lasers firing at the same time. The system will pick that up and translate that into who shot and where and when. So let's say Sergeant Perry and Sergeant Guthrie each had a taser, an OC, a long gun, and a pistol. You can essentially deploy any one of those weapons during a scenario at the same time, and it can pick that up and show you who shot where and when and with what. So that way when you're doing a debrief, you can tell what was utilized and if that was the correct use of force. Now that camera right there, that's another perk to the Milo Advanced system over the Milo Classic, which is the $15,000 one. That one is the system that's recording all the time during the scenario when it's playing out. Now it's not like auto save or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about like detailed logs and stuff. It doesn't save unless you want it to on the system. So once the scenario's done, you just go to the next scenario and it just wipes it completely. So the nice part about that is, and I was telling you earlier, you only really need one person to run this system. So one person has to just sit here and operate the system, just click the buttons and pick the correct scenario, pick the correct outcome that you want it to go to while it's playing out, and that way that system is working correctly, so you can have a debrief, a thorough one, with the officer afterwards, where you can actually go through, talk about what they did, what they said, what the good stuff and the bad stuff. So that's the perks of that camera right there. Again, there's over 800 different scenarios and 22 different categories in here, so you do have a broad base of categories. You will actually see a lot of them are actually Massachusetts, New England area. So we do a lot with the MBTA, Boston PD and stuff like that. MPTC uses our systems extensively, so we got like 5 or 6 of them at all the training academy sites and everything. So a couple in the New England area, the National Guard base has this same system right here. They actually have what's called a shoot-back cannon with theirs. So it's a cannon, it's an airsoft gun that they actually shoot back at the students with. So Yarmouth is actually getting theirs installed next week. I was talking about that. So basically what it is, when the snare is playing out, if there's active shooter scenario, you can have that shoot-back cannon firing back at the students, so that way it teaches the officers to use cover appropriately. So they're not just kind of planting themselves and firing back. You want to shoot, move, and communicate, as they say. So that way it makes a more fluid and dynamic environment. Now, with the scenarios, you also have the non-live film scenarios, which are like the CGI and marksmanship style training. Those ones are based off of kind of like the video game concept and everything. It's a lot of marksmanship training. So like you got pepper poppers, plates, the Texas Star. There is some judgmental use of force stuff like the shoot, don't shoot scenario built in where you're going through the shoot house. Those are really interactive and very dynamic, especially when you add in like Kinect, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen it for like Xbox. It's basically like a little sensor that goes in front of the screen. And once you turn the scenario on and you put the trainee in front of this, the trainee moves around in the room and the scenario will actually move with them. So if you guys are both interested in that 180 system, that's an option that is for that system specifically. The thing with that is, that's the closest you're gonna get to VR. So virtual reality, it's still in the works, not anytime soon, unfortunately, from everything that we've seen and try to work on. Even like the bigger companies like Raytheon, they're far, far away. Unless you guys have like $6 or $10 million laying around, no, it's kind of far and few in the police department realms and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of money and a lot of real estate space for those VR systems. So that's the unfortunate side. But with the Kinect system, it's the closest thing to it. And honestly, I like that over some of the VR that I've actually utilized because you're not having anything tethered to you. You don't have like goggles and stuff like that. You can punch, kick, give verbal commands to the screen, and it picks all that stuff up. So that's the plus side to our Milo Kinect option. So that's that. And then also the last thing, the software feature on the system. And again, this is all across the systems. There is a firing range application where you can actually recreate your own firing range or ball course and play it on the system. So with that, you have problematic shooters, bring them in a nice climate-controlled classroom setting. Do you guys do outdoor ranges? Yeah. So I've been here in February when it's like 10 feet of snow in a week, which is not fun in the blizzard. So yeah, I know how that can be. So you can just do all your ball courses right here. Now, you never want to use this in lieu of live fire because that's obviously something you have to train on and everything. So, but yeah. So, any questions before I get into the system?
Can you just go over the different price points? I know you said the base was
Yeah.
$15,000. Explain what each price point involves or entails.
Yeah. So I've got all the systems laid out. I can do that for you right now. So this system right here our Milo Pro. This is our desktop one. This is the top of the line of the single screen system. This one's $42,000. This is the one that MPTC chose over all the other ones. The main reason, you can build your own course fires, your own scenarios and stuff like that. That software and the training comes with this package. That one's $42,000 just because it's a desktop system. Typically, it's mounted in a room permanently with a setup. It's got 5.1 surround sound speakers and everything. So that's why it's $42,000.
Are there any recurring fees on top of that
You know, I mean,
$42,000?
you can do a warranty and everything. It's 5% of the cost. We do have this other one called the Platinum warranty where it's 50% of the cost and you get a 5-year warranty total. And then at the end of the 5 years, you get a brand new system. So there's a couple places up north that do that. Boston PD does it, MPTC does it. Yeah, so every 5 years, they're constantly getting a new Milo system. So one, it's staying current with the times and everything, like the software and technology and everything. And also, you're getting the newest stuff, so downtime for any systems. Not to say that these things break, because we have stuff that's like 15, 20 years old that's still running. These things last a long time. We select our hardware pretty specifically because we are ISO, I think it's 9001. It's just a certification thing for quality assurance. So we have to make sure that this stuff is going to last a long time. And we know that you guys, when you buy these things, are high-ticket items. Like, you might not get a chance to buy these things for another 5, 10, 20 years we've seen. So we want to make sure we get it right the first time. So we don't want you guys calling us and badmouthing us. So we totally get it. Yeah, we want to give you something that's going to last long for you guys to be happy with. So yeah, that's this system right here. The biggest difference between this one is just the desktop. So it goes from a laptop. This setup right here is $25,000. This one goes to $42,000. Now the step down is the Milo Classic. Now you don't have the flashlight option. So you can't use scenarios with low light and stuff like that. You don't have that playback camera, which these two systems do, the Milo Pro and then Milo Advanced right here. So that's why the Classic is $15,000. Now, when you go up in price, so those are the three single screen ones. It's $15, $25, and $42. to the theater systems, like the 180 and the 300, like Plainville, Mass, they just bought the 300-degree system. They're getting theirs installed, I think, February. So that's the 300 right there, and that's our 180 system. So this is the CGI setup, and there's that Connect Sense right there. So when the student walks into that scenario and they start moving around, the whole scenario moves with you. Price point for 180 is $85,000. 300 is 125,000. So now there was something that just came out from GSA that does knock the price down pretty significantly. It's called the Disaster Recovery Program. It's a self-certifying program. Pretty much any department qualifies for it, especially for these systems. I was just talking to the GSA rep. I think he's out of Ohio. Basically what it is, you just put a paragraph on your purchase order stating that you qualify for it, because these systems, we have scenarios that were made by FLETC, DHS, ICE. I mean, every FBI uses us primarily as their system. Every field office has the Milo Classic system in it, pretty much. So they float around the state and field office to field office. So they've got quite a few. But yeah, because we have those anti-terrorism scenarios, natural disaster scenario, man-made, like active shooter. I guess that's it qualifies as like a natural disaster, or I'm sorry, man-made disaster. So that's why you can self-certify with the disaster recovery program. So it does knock off, I think, 5 to 8% off the price with the GSA pricing and everything. So when we get into the pricing and stuff like that, we can talk further about that stuff too. Did I send you the quotes with the GSA?
You did.
Okay, yeah. So that's the correct stuff. And did I send you the disaster recovery info too?
I don't remember that.
Okay, gotcha.
I do know the GSA.
I sent it to Sergeant Carl too, so he's got all that. But yeah, it kind of varies. Different products, they give different price ratings and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the systems there. I'm not sure about in the state of Massachusetts that they have this set up, but this is actually a driving simulator tied into our Milo systems. We're actually the only company that offers that capability, so you can actually go from the vehicle pursuit to actually the foot pursuit and then the engagement with the subject on the screen. So it is a CGI rendering on the driving force system, is what we call it, and then you get out and then the live film scenario kicks on for the Milo side. So that system right there, I'd say it's about 85 for the Milo and about 110 for this system right there. But I mean, think about it, you can safely do all your EVOC training and Milo training, use force stuff right in a classroom setting. One day, as opposed to going from site to site, bringing out recruits, candidates, officers, bouncing them around everywhere. So
You need a big classroom though.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, I want to say the smallest size I ever put one in, well, not me personally, but I think it was like a 20 by 30 foot room. It was a single screen system with the driving system. So they fit everything. I mean, it was comfortable, wiggle room and everything. Officers can move around and shoot stuff like that. So there wasn't jam packed with the two systems in there. So. That's the Air Force Security Forces officer right there. And then you were asking about the projector stands. So that's why you need the 9-foot clearance, because that's the projector that sits behind the theater screens right there. So it kind of looks up and over and then casts down onto the system. Not really sure what that guy's doing there. Yeah. Yeah, so saying it's pretty much, I mean, with GSA pricing, you get down to about 10,000 for the classic system. I think it's like 21,000 for this, 37 for the Milo Pro, that's the MPTC one, 76 for the 180, and 112 for the 300-degree system. So that's for the GSA pricing. And it's like a no questions asked thing. Like you just put that on your purchase order, and that's all you need. So and that's pretty much done after that.
So this 76 though for the 180 system, that doesn't include like the AR-15.
That's correct.
The OC, all those are separate, right?
So you
Add
get,
on to that?
so with the theater systems, you're gonna get 2 dry fire pistols, 2 OC canisters, and 2 of these flashlights right here. So you do have something ready to go right out of the box. We install it for you, we train you on it for 2 days and everything, so you get a 2-year warranty. So pretty much every system from the advanced pro theater systems up, you get a 2-year warranty with it. So, and out of warranty, you can still give us a call. You still are entitled to the free software and scenario updates and everything, so that's all free for the life of the system. So we have guys calling from 10, 15-year-old systems still getting updates and stuff like that. So
And how much is it to add the patrol rifle and the taser?
for the rifles, they're $2,400. A pistol is $2,200.
And the taser?
Tasers are $2,500. For the recoil kits, that's what you're getting to put into your department guns. So it's not like a gun recoil kit package, it's just the recoil kits only. So the bulk of the money with those things is actually the lasers. They're about $1,000 per system and everything. So there's a lot of software that goes into them and everything. So. Any questions on the pricing before I get into this stuff? Or? All right. So I don't know if you can see it back there clear. You might want to come back here. You can see a little bit better. Just kind of give you an overview of the Milo Systems software. All right, so after we go through this, I'll let you guys sit down. All right, so in here, this is your lesson scenarios. This is where the 800 plus scenarios are hidden. They're broken down into 22 different categories right here. So you have everything from 3D, put like 3D goggles on, you'll be in a like patrol car scenario. You'll get shot at, glass will come flying back at you and stuff like that, so that's how that one works. Active shooter, all the way down to the whole verbal defense and influence. The verbal de-escalation stuff, that verbal judo stuff, that's big now because mental health issues, people on drugs, off drugs and stuff like that, so that's the big thing now is training officers how to respond to people in like crisis situations where they need to de-escalate. So things have changed drastically over the years. Next one down, these are the CGI graphics scenarios right here. There's about 75, 80 of these. So these are mostly marksmanship, but also judgmental shooting. So you have some of that tied in too.
Deer hunting?
Yep, gotta have that. We haven't done a sight-in yet, so we gotta do that for all the hunters. So here's your firing range application, software feature right here. Different settings. Now it is CGI based, but you can actually take a picture of your range and actually put that up as your background. So to make it more realistic for your officers to go through the training, that is something that you could do.
And can you adjust like the distance from the target? So let's say if you're trying to run the range, you had to do 3-yard line, 5-yard line,
Yep.
So forth.
Definitely. So the way this works is it can be adjusted from 3 yards all the way out to 300 yards. So it's, I think the longest law enforcement shoot was like 331 yards or something like that. Just met the guy in May. He had like an old M16A1. He didn't kill the guy, but he wounded him enough where it took him out and everything. But yeah, just got done with like long distance rifle training. Got issued this old M16A1 from like Vietnam and responded to a call and took the shot. But yeah, 331 is about the max I've ever heard. But yeah, for 300 yards, that's pretty far with these. We are trying to get our newest software on where it's a long range interdiction. It goes out to 1,000 yards. I don't know how many cops have ever shot out that far, but it is something that we can offer and put on there. So I don't think there's gonna be a charge for it. But the way this system works is you actually set the distance that the student's gonna sit from the screen. So this one is set at about I think it's like 5 yards, so 15 feet. So at 15 feet, you're gonna have your officers situated in a line, whether 2, 3, 4 officers. And then you're going to have each on an individual lane on the system. So when the system's running through, you're going to have a slide that pops up that says like, okay, this is your range command briefing right now. You're going to take three shots with your dominant hand at this distance, and then target pops up, you shoot it, and then the target advances or moves farther back and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that whole concept works. And we'll get into it and play with it too, just so you can see the concept of it. But yeah. For the most part, your officers aren't moving. They're just kind of stagnant, just like on a shooting line.
The image is moving in there.
Exactly, yep.
Is it, and I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Sorry.
But, when I was with Peter,
Yeah.
He bought a new scope, and so does it coincide with the scopes that the police officers have?
Yeah.
With, okay.
So what'll happen is with a 6-power scope, I think it's 6 power, about maximum. That's what you want to use with these systems. You can actually utilize it with the system. The problem is if you get any higher, you can really pick up the pixelation on the screen. It just looks bad. So you don't want to have anything too power. And plus, it's not going to look realistic too. So usually between, do you guys have scopes on your guns? No. Okay. So it's just all iron sights.
The SRT have them.
Red.
It's not really scopes or EODs.
Okay. Yeah. Red dot or EOTechs or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, most of the time it's all like a one power non-magnifying scope for law enforcement. Just because you gotta, usually the shots are usually pretty close, like within 25 yards, so you want to do a quick follow-up too, so you don't want to have a magnified scope on it. But you can use magnified weapons on these, so it's something that's done. But again, when you get over 6 power scope, it's just the magnification. You can pick up every pixel, so it's like a hawk eye looking at it, so that's the thing with it. This next one down, this is kind of like a favorite. So let's say you guys get a system and you have a set of scenarios in here, because you're not going to love all 800 scenarios. There's some like done in Arizona, Texas, you're like, that doesn't look realistic at all, so it doesn't apply to you guys. So you grab the ones that you like, that pertain to your area and everything, and also for what you guys see on a day-to-day basis, because I'm sure you guys see a lot of different things than what Detroit cops and probably even Boston cops see. So with the tourist industry, you guys get everyone. Well, actually, maybe Boston sees it too, because they have a lot of tourists coming in too. But this is a search option, so you can find different scenarios with different qualities, like banks, hospitals, schools. This one right here is called your knowledge base. So let's say you have like policies on how to arrest policies, brand versus counter, all that stuff. So if you ever wanted to upload your SOPs and stuff like that, there is a classroom portion of this. So it's kind of a one-size-fits-all, put everything on here, so you have to go back and forth from computer to computer. So just do it all on the Milo system.
Another question.
Yeah.
So, say we have a bank that's robbed
Mhm.
frequently. I don't think we do.
Yeah.
But,
Do you?
could we, don't give it that one. Could we put our bank
Yeah.
in there?
Oh, yeah.
So that we know the terrain and the geographic,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. So when I was mentioning I was with Ohio, didn't I tell you about the Ohio DNR? Maybe I was telling you about that. So a couple weeks ago, I was with Ohio DNR. We were shooting scenarios that were specific to them, because they don't do like normal traffic stops. They approach like boaters and check like licenses and stuff like that, pull over ATVs, hunters and stuff. So we wanted to make scenarios that were specific to them. Just like you're mentioning, the bank is specific to you guys. So when we're in the area, we can definitely go and film stuff like that. I was with Wellesley PD actually 2-3 years ago, and we filmed like a traffic stop, something that happened to them in their parking lot in this area and everything that we wanted to make for them. So we definitely do it all the time. So you just give us a call. Typically when we come out, we're gonna shoot a couple scenarios. It's not just like one, because we wanna make it cost effective and everything. So it's usually like 5 to 10. So if you guys have stuff that you're like encountering frequently in certain areas, definitely wanna get that on film, so.
Like the beach in the summertime.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did Cape May, New Jersey. We just did a couple of scenarios with
Okay.
them, so, yeah,
Is
stay at
that-
the boardwalk.
Is that additional cost?
No.
on top? Okay.
I mean, you can buy like a filming package, but that's if you just wanna keep it on your system. If you wanna make scenarios, that you wanna share, then it's free. We just have to line up the dates and everything, and we'll come out to you guys. So we're starting to do that more and more now. It used to be like a cost thing where we would have to charge for that, but now, since we need so many new scenarios and stuff like that, just because we're trying to redo things, we're just kinda opening it up. So let's just go around. We got a new media guy that's pretty hungry to get out and about, so he's kinda
4th
good.
of July.
4th of July? Yeah, I don't want to be here 4th of July. It's so busy. I was here in August, and I was like, oh my God, the traffic is terrible.
How about like recording data, meaning like everything we do obviously with training, we keep on spreadsheets, so we're always updating who's where in the
Yeah.
training scenarios.
Mhm.
Can this be housed like in a spreadsheet in this system as to like if we have 124 officers?
Yeah.
I can, or our firearms use of force instructors can, as we go along,
Yeah.
you know, keeping track of who's done what scenario, because you can see how it would get pretty
Oh yeah.
confusing without it, but can it be held in this system
In this one.
some way or
Yeah.
other?
Or what we recommend, external hard drives, because we've had these things get subpoenaed for court cases and stuff like that, officer involved shootings, where they want to look at the training records and everything. So we always tell everyone, don't save anything in the Milo system, save it to external. During the scenarios, there's a part which I'm going to go over, where you can actually make an individual report per student, and it kind of goes over what was done, what was said, what weapons were utilized, and all that stuff. So that part is on the system, because that's a big thing, especially for academies and everything. They want to know what the students were doing and how they were graded on it. So they want to know if they're doing good, bad, stuff like that.
Have these systems been subpoenaed for court?
I've heard of one, and we almost had to ship out like a loaner system, but they got it back. So it was just a desktop one, not like this. So I don't even think they could, I think they sent it back because they couldn't figure out how to hook it up and get the files off or something like that, so. But, yeah.
I mean, in reality, this could be put on any computer, it doesn't have to necessarily be on this
The-
laptop,
The
right?
files?
Yeah, I mean, the entire operating, software that you have.
So this software has a license key that's specific to this computer, so it actually can't be transferred. I
Right.
mean, if something ever happened to this system, and we've done this before, a guy has a Milo system down in the basement, it flooded, and everything was just gone. So he was out of warranty, all we did was we transferred his license and software over to a laptop that he bought. So, and we just charged him like $300 or something like that, so you could do something like that.
I mean, as far as like, say, court.
Yeah.
You know, or someone filing a suit or something like that, and
Mhm.
they want to get information, they wanted a copy of the scenarios.
Yeah.
You could download that
Oh,
and
yeah.
give them a copy, you don't have to
Yeah.
give them your system.
No, not at all. You can even like save some of the videos and stuff like that and actually play them
Right.
for that and everything. So a lot of the times we'll see like stuff will happen and then they'll recreate that shooting so they can kind of see, like show the jury and stuff like that, how other people would react to this, to show people it's not that easy. Like, I mean, this is hard work. That's why people have to train on this constantly and do it all the time. So yeah, it's definitely something to do. This is mostly just for like the trainers to track for like the training progress and everything, but like you're asking individual training logs, that's in the system itself, like when you're playing the scenarios, and I'll show you that.
Okay.
So, this icon right there, that's just options, stuff like that. So if you want, you can have a seat and I'll play through a couple scenarios just to show you how they operate and everything. Alright, so like I was saying earlier, these scenarios have different options where you can kind of tailor them as the student is going along and giving verbal commands on what they're doing. So I can change these scenarios. If they have what they call branching options, I can change them as it's moving along. So this one, it's active shooting in a school. So gives you a quick little synopsis. Now this one, I have 4 different options where I can have the guy shoot me, turn around with his hands up, turn around with the phone, and then this is like the flashlight option. Just going to show you that. Hold that and gauge the guy on the screen next time. That's one of the recoiling pistols. So we'll play that same scenario again. Alright, see what takes the shooting.
Nice shot.
Alright. So typically, when you're playing these scenarios, you're obviously getting the trainees in the role. So you want to get them in, like, hey, I've seen people like, they'll have like a treadmill in the room, or they'll have them do like push-ups, jumping jacks, kind of get their heart rate a little elevated. We even have like a heart rate monitor that you can put on the students, and it actually tracks their heart rate during the scenario. So when they're shooting and stuff like that, high stress moments, you'll see the heart rate peak and everything like that. So it just kind of coincides. There's science behind this stuff, so that's what we want to track too. Done a lot of studies with academies, universities, and stuff like that. So the whole use of force element. So we want to make sure we know what we're doing and applying it properly.
So 2 shots?
Yep.
So you hit him on the first or the second?
Let's see. What do you think? What do you think?
Dean hit him on
Nice
both.
shot. Yeah.
Dean's pretty eagle-eyed. I go, Dean's an eagle-eyed. I go, I tell you, he hit him on both probably.
Yeah, so you will see the scenarios themselves go very quickly. And like the trainees were like, it was a blip. And then during the debrief part, like even the guy from Boston PD that runs the academy, he said he'll spend 15, 20 minutes up to an hour talking during the debrief with the students, just going over everything that happened. What did you do? What did you see? And all that stuff. So all these veteran officers. can
Now,
tell
if you miss the guy, would he go down?
No, you have to hit them. There are hit zones built on the subject on the screen. And when I say like make scenarios and stuff like that, when we build scenarios, there's editing software that we actually use to actually map out hit zones on the subjects. Like if you see a subject with body armor, we'll put like a hit zone on that area where it takes like 8, 10 shots, or a hit zone on the face where it takes 1 shot. Most of the time, we'll do a torso and head area because law enforcement, you're trained to shoot center mass, for the most part, to the chest, one of the head drill, or body armor drills and stuff like that. So,
So why did you go for the head?
well,
Did you go for the
No,
head?
I went for center mass.
Okay.
so this is the debrief. So, I don't remember when I was saying all these shots are tracked, so you can tell who shot where and when. That gun is listed under training 2. You can actually put your officers' names into these systems. So, if you wanted to have like Sergeant Perry or even Sergeant Carl, Sergeant Guthrie in there, you can have your guys' names uploaded in there. That coincides with the reports that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. It'll have the person's name, the weapons that were utilized, how many times that weapon was discharged, all that stuff. So, right here, it says Glock 22 shot 1 and 2. And I hit play again. Another nice shot. Good hits. Very good hits. And then, for that scenario, it took 2 shots when you go down. We don't always put it with the hit zones where it's just 1 shot, dies every time. So that would mean like if you shot him in the shoulder or something like that, he would drop. That's not realistic. It
So
takes
if
multiple.
you just hit him in the arm or the leg, he would still be in the
Oh
fight.
yeah, definitely. And you would have to continue firing. Now the other thing is, this system is tracking your round count. So for the Glock 22, I think it's like 15 rounds you get with those ones. So if you expend all your ammo, reload. So you're going to do a reload. The instructor clicks a button on here and reloads the shoot. So that's where I'm at. If you want to check this out, it's kind of specific to you. So for the tracking of the training and everything, this is where you would go about doing that. So what I did was, you want to see this here? So it is pretty important. Like Boston PD does this a lot. They have their own spreadsheets, but they kind of use the mile ones too. So if you want to track training, so let's say, because training 2 was the one that shot, so that was the gun that you had. I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on scoring. I'm going to click on add. Let's just say I do accuracy. That's one of the categories. Let's just change it to pass fail. You can do percentage based too if you want, but no one ever does that. It's usually like, I want to sit there and count all the shots and get the calculator out. No. I come over here and I click on session report, and this is something you would save to external hard drive. And then this is the generic report that's populated for the student. So you got the student name, the date, time stamp, what weapon was utilized, if not, oh, I'm sorry, actually.
Now, will this be your agency, your company downloading all of our officers? And then, so it would be, essentially, we'd have everything set up already, preloaded, and then we just go and fill it, download it to our external.
During the training, we're gonna sit there and work with you guys and show you how to upload your officers' names. So it's part of the training and everything.
Alright.
So we'll help you guys put the names in and everything.
Yeah.
Show you some easier ways to go about it. For these reports, that's done by you personally.
Right, no, they, after a scenario, they just download it themselves,
That's right.
enter download and get it off the hard drive, right?
Now, can you print these
Mhm.
as well? If you
Yeah, the system doesn't come with a printer. I mean, printers are like $30 these days, so. I mean, typically what we see is it'll be saved like a hard drive and then you just take it back to your desktop computer or workstation and print it out there.
But we can go ahead, and these are Wi-Fi or internet, so we can go ahead and log into our
Definitely.
our network.
Yep.
And you can send it to whatever printers you have on that network.
Yeah. If you got on your email, that's exactly a good way of doing it. So you can definitely do that. Go on like Gmail, Hotmail account, and send it off. So that's something you do. And it's just a file. It's just a PDF file. So it's nothing like a movie clip or anything that's too large to send. So.
I mean, I get it, it's a computer, but how many officers can we enter?
I haven't seen a maximum. I mean,
Okay.
I've seen hundreds of people go through. So, and I mean, you're about 120, 130.
Right now, we're 117.
170. You're about 50 to 60. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna get
Okay.
bigger. It's there's like over 8, actually a terabyte of space
Okay.
that's just extra on this system. So you won't even get anywhere close. The only time you're ever gonna get close is if you start saving the actual scenarios, which you can do. So right here, if you click on any of these icons, the save one or the save tac, which is saving that video right there, that's saving the video part. So it compresses it into an MP4 format, so it's a smaller file size, but still, you're gonna have to save a lot of videos to be able to get anywhere near the maximum memory.
No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you're saying we want to save it to like maybe a thumb drive or an external, in your experiences, are you having the firearms use to force people hold these? Or they're issuing you like a thumb drive to every individual officer saying, hey, this is your assigned thumb drive, bring it with you into, you know?
Usually the firearms guys will kind of hold all that stuff, just because when it goes bad, it just gets lost or they forget to bring it. I saw one, it was a academy out in South Dakota. Every recruit that went through had like their own thumb drive that they had to plug into their desktop stations, and their Milo reports were on there. And if they lose it, which they do a lot because they're kids and everything, so they get dinged with so many points for the course. But
Matter of fact, in Massachusetts, the firearms records have to be saved forever.
Gotcha.
So there is no 7-year
Yeah.
throw out, right?
Gotcha. That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to be saved.
Now, what was the gigabyte storage that comes with the system? Is there different levels of, storage that comes with it, or?
Yeah, every system, like all the Milo stuff, I'd say the scenarios and the software take about 300 to 350 gigabytes, and then you got about a terabyte and a half of memory total. So you have like about a terabyte of memory on this system that you get to play with. So, like I was saying, you're not going to get anywhere near the storage capacity if you're just saving PDF documents here and there. So, yeah, you got a lot of storage space. So, and if you want, we can even just throw in an external hard drive. It's an easy thing. They're just sitting around. So when customers do request them, we don't send them out with all of them, but when they need them, if you guys are storing stuff like that, that's an easy I just tell the guys that are making the system to add one in. So.
Now, when you said when you saved it, that would save that scenario that the officer shot.
Correct.
Like the one that I just did.
Yep.
That's the one that you talked about.
It would save the video portion that you were shooting on, and also what that camera was picking up right there. So we won't go into that. Let's play another one. You wanna grab the AR? That one's ready to go too. Try this one.
There you go, Eagle Eye.
Hey, the safety should be on there. All right, so this one's a school shooting again.
Do you do all your shooting sitting down?
No.
Preferably you want to. It's easier that way.
From the cruiser seat.
Yeah. So you get out. Got little gun ports in the windshield.
Sunroof come out.
Yeah.
Like the SWAT guy.
Please don't shoot me, please don't shoot
Drop
me.
it.
Think your wife's gone. Yeah, so you can throw external sounds at it any time. So that's that cell phone noise going on. Dogs barking, horns honking, and stuff like that.
So does anyone ever, the girl who gets shot, does anyone ever get him before he shoots her?
Some people,
Hmm.
yeah.
A little delayed there, Dean, a little delayed.
So now we can do a picture-in-picture, which I didn't do last time, but this one, it'll actually play it through, kind of synced up, so you can see what was happening outside of the scenario with the students. This is really nice, because when you get the guy sitting there telling you, I didn't do that, I didn't say that, play this back and really shows them everything that
That's
happened.
neat, yeah, that's really good.
I had this one guy, he was like a new SWAT guy.
Yeah.
He went through a scenario, he was shooting at the subject, and then he ran out of ammo, so he tried to do a reload. Well, he just reconfigured everything on his vest, and he grabbed his OC canister, and it was jamming it into the magazine while it was gun. And he's like, screw it. He threw the thing down, and he couldn't figure out why the magazine wouldn't fit in there. And then we're like, do you realize what you just did? He's like, no, the magazine just wouldn't fit. And like,
Yeah.
you play the video back, he's like, I need to move some stuff
Yeah,
around
exactly.
again. So, yeah. Key of the moment, kind of forget some things.
So on the replay, it shows the shots too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your first shot, second shot. Second shooter comes up. And center mass.
A little off the subject,
Yep.
but obviously the majority of this is firearms. How are departments utilizing the use of force officers into the system?
Like OC,
OC,
taser, stuff like
taser,
that,
I mean, because
definitely.
what I'm seeing is that it's always gonna be starting off with a firearm almost, or is there scenarios that are just set up for standard use of force other than firearms?
To be honest with you, we try to push this shooting side. I'm just showing you this just to demonstrate the system's capabilities.
Right.
We try to push, like, make it as realistic as possible. Show the traffic stop scenarios where the guy's irate and yelling at you, and then you have to verbally de-escalate this situation right now. So the shooting portion of it, very small, what we see for the trades and everything. So it is thrown in there. I'd say 1 out of every 10 scenarios, I'd say, have that one as the shooting one, because not everyone's shooting in real life,
Right.
so it doesn't happen. So,
Do they have a baton scenario?
oh yeah, yeah. So if there is a baton icon, I'm just in the active shooter folder right now, so that's why we're seeing these.
So technically, we could have our firearms instructors and our straight, because our use of force people are not our firearms people. So technically, the smart thing to do is have all your firearms and use of force guys, or officers, personnel, trained in this.
Yeah.
So they can run, use of force can run their own separate as well, right?
Yep. I'll play one for you right now that has like, this one you could use OC or taser. Just use OC in this one. So yeah, you gotta be able to train for everything, and that's what we want to cover.
Thanks for coming, officer. It's my daughter, Allie, again. She's bipolar, she's off the meds. Come on in. She's in the kitchen here.
Wait, fucking boss, let me down. What? Bucky, what do you want?
Not bad.
Oh, what is that shit? Oh,
That's just to show you how the OC would react. Same concept with the taser. So,
okay.
and you have someone irate, and we have people charging you with knives, people that are just becoming hostile, coming in with their hands and everything. So it's a whole different element for the non-firearm side. And just like real life, if you don't get 2 of the probes on her, nothing's gonna happen. So.
Thanks for coming, officer. It's my daughter, Allie, again. She's bipolar, she's off the meds. Come on in. She's in the kitchen here.
Wait, fucking boss, let me down. What? Fuck. Okay, don't shoot.
Yeah, this is the emotionally disturbed person folder. There's about 60 of those in there, so it's
That's like
all-
90% of our calls.
Yeah, really? Gotcha.
So how do
So,
you
yeah.
choose between taser or?
That's at the officer's discretion. I mean, do you guys carry OC and taser?
In baton.
And baton.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I know a lot of places, they either carry OC or they carry taser. So not every department carries it. Like, I think in New York City, like the only guys that have tasers are those SWAT guys in the city and everything. I think Boston just carries the OC too,
Yeah.
and a gun, but.
What's the range of the
The OC, it's like about 10, 15 feet.
Yeah.
It's not that long, yeah. You gotta be kinda close to the OC. Taser, it's usually within 7, 15.
And then if it's windy and, you know, because it's a spray, so you gotta be careful with, you know.
Yeah.
Good point.
I've done training before, and we were using live OC, and the wind came back and hit the officer back in the face, and I go, oh, maybe we should change it up and do something else.
So for this one, this is just another scenario where you could use lethal or non-lethal in this one. each one of these scenarios is set up where it tells you what weapons can be utilized. This one's telling me you can use any kind of phone or a taser.
Listen to the shot.
Upper ball, knee bang, or anything.
Wow, yeah.
It's just a software setting, so we have a shotgun round that you actually put in your 870 or Boston 5.
Get out! Go away! They're here! Go away! They're here! They're here! Run! 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 Get out of here! Get out of here! I gotta get rid of him! I gotta get rid of him!
This is where the officer obviously is engaging.
They're here! No! I need this! You're them! You're them!
But if you don't take an action, this is what happens simply. So you just see the outcome where it turns all red, or it says you didn't take action, and stuff like that, so. You do have to hit them within the hit zones.
That's good, it gives the officer the chance to maybe engage in less lethal, and then if that doesn't work, or
Now,
if
can
he
you-
delays, he's gonna
Can
have
you
to go.
play
to
that
lethal.
back? Let's say if I try the taser and
And
then have a
miss.
bad hit, and then he still comes, and then if I transition.
Can you make the taser miss, so they have to transition or no?
We can force fail weapons here.
Yeah,
So,
like if, we yeah,
yeah, so on the weapon lineup, so it's
Yeah.
got the training name and the weapons that are associated with the training.
Yeah.
I can force fail certain weapons. The way we usually see that put in play, they'll have a long gun, we'll force fail the long gun so they can do a transition to a pistol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For
'Cause
like
if
the
I-
SWAT training.
yeah, if we like force fail the taser,
Yeah.
then he has to transition to his handgun or a different force
Definitely.
option.
It's definitely something you can do.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Because even if he
out!
gets the probes in, a lot of times you get like a coding disconnect or
Yeah.
something like that where they're not gonna work.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we've got it built in where some scenarios where you pepper spray or taser
Yeah,
someone,
doesn't
it doesn't
work.
work. Yeah. And they just kind of like laugh at you. It's like, oh crap.
Get out of here!
Would police
Get out of
officers
here!
stand by and watch?
I gotta get rid of him!
anything
No,
of
we'd
that?
be
I got-
yelling
I
at
gotta
him.
get rid
So
of
say,
him!
usually
Drop it.
they'd be engaging them right now.
You would engage in with those cars there?
Didn't work. He's like,
And use a
what'd you just
firearm.
do, tickle me?
Drop it, drop it,
No, okay.
They're here! No!
Drop
I
it.
need this! You're them! You're them!
So did you choose to just wound him?
no, I missed him with the taser.
Yeah,
He wanted to see how it would work, the transition from
Right.
less lethal to lethal. And so he purposefully missed
Missed
it with
with
the
the
taser.
taser.
right.
So only one dart of the taser went in. And so then when that failed, he gave him a minute to try
That
and
one only had
reset.
just one shot.
And then once he
Yeah,
became a
probably
lethal
like
threat
close-
to him,
Right.
that's when he shot.
Okay, because I know I
But
tried
that's
two.
what I was asking.
Usually what happens is when it's
If
that close to the end of the scenario.
he
if you
chose
hit him
not to
once,
kill
they'll
him,
just kinda
No,
wrap
just
it up.
to
Just shoot him at.
We
There's a
don't
certain allotted
make that
time
decision.
No.
Oh, you
build
don't?
No,
the
we-
so if it's close
we
to the
shoot
end,
to
there's
stop
nothing
the
else
threat.
to be seen.
Okay.
So we're always
What about malfunctions?
trying to aim
Yep.
for either center mass.
I mean, I know you
and
can
if
set up
center
malfunction,
mass
but are
doesn't
these
work,
weapons-
which means whatever is
These
showing,
firearms
if they're
available, like your
peeking
tap
around the
rack,
wall,
your
center
primary,
mass is
secondary.
gonna be
You
whatever
can
we
do all
want
that
to see,
stuff with
center
it,
of
but I
that
mean,
target.
The only way to really do a
So we're always looking for
malfunction is
center
with our other
mass.
option called
If
UTM.
they're wearing like a ballistic vest,
munitions,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
and we
So
shoot the
we
center
actually
mass
sell,
and that fails,
what's-
then we're gonna
this
do
is-
something
you guys
where
get
we're
talking
trying to take a
about that.
headshot
Okay, gotcha.
to try
So
and stop
what
that threat.
they do is UTM
And
makes
we
a
have a
top slide
whole
and a
priority
full
of life
ARs.
thing that was going
And
through
then
our
you actually
mind,
use
you know,
pressurized
Right.
rounds.
the
So it is
scenario
not-
they had
it's a
earlier where the,
$200 slide and a
um,
$150 bolt from UTM, then you buy the round.
the assailant had shot the female hostage there.
Right.
You know, the officer comes on that scene and says, okay, if I hesitate on this,
Right.
then now I'm putting that guy's life above her life.
And they run off the
And
firearms
so
that we already.
we have to
well,
look
your
at it and say,
firearms
okay,
at
can I make this
100%
shot?
right?
If I can't, then I take the shot, then he's gonna shoot her. If I miss, then he kills her. So all this stuff is
Yeah,
going through
yeah,
the
yeah.
officer's
But
mind, and when we do our training,
the
we talk
UTM,
about all this stuff with
that'd be
the
it.
officers. So,
That can be put onto that
right now,
though,
we
right?
try and
Like
do
that
that
slide is
on
placed
the
onto that?
Yeah, so you should actually
out
take
there.
this slide and then the
And what this will help us do by having this kind of system is, it's gonna satisfy the third part of training that we have to do in the state. Right now, we have to do a qualification, which is every year, we have to
Now,
qualify
we
in all
have
the weapons that we
M&Ps,
carry.
so
Right.
that system would.
And beyond that, we have
Yeah, we
to
make
also
real
do
kits for pretty much everything that
50
walks.
live rounds of scenario-based,
So once that slide, that
practical
UTM
training,
slide is on,
which is we can
that
do
can
like
be,
moving and
that will be
shooting,
on that
or
weapon.
low light
And you don't
scenarios,
have to worry about
or
changing
stuff
them
like
again,
that.
we can just always
That
run
has to also be
standard,
with live rounds.
or
And then
now
there has
run
to
the
be
malfunctions.
another
So we could,
training
yeah.
session
Just use the
where you
regular
have to do
rounds.
decision,
Now, I will say
use of
though,
force and
rounds,
scenario-based
the
stuff,
price,
where it doesn't
they
have
are
to be live
close to
fire, and this is where this would come in.
20,
At
25
that-
cents or anything.
that third
That's
session.
the downside to it. People go with these.
The
because
reason I
they pay,
asked is
per
because
round, it's about a quarter-
he's still
quarter
moaning
penny
and groaning, so he
per round.
didn't
That's
kill
why
him.
people usually
Right.
stick with the recoil kits.
Well, in that
And then when
scenario,
you want
there,
to
it
get into the
stopped the
live
threat.
realistic portion,
Right.
Didn't
then you
kill
switch
him.
to the
Right.
UTM.
It
All
wasn't
it
his
is is
intention
right
to
from the
not
top
kill him,
slide.
he just intended to stop the threat, however that may
Yeah,
work
I
out
can
for
send you
him. A
information.
lot of times, you know,
Yeah.
with movies, you know, when you shoot someone, they go
April,
down, they
they
go,
have
oh, right?
Right.
They're all the way at the
That,
north.
not necessarily in real
Yeah,
life
right, right,
scenario,
right,
you know, someone gets shot, they're not necessarily dead. You know,
I mean,
they get shot in the arms, the
The
legs.
thing we know,
you
the
Right.
known is that
Wherever.
And
you
also,
know how to shoot.
on
Yeah.
this one
But
here.
where the air is, the
Because
longer
it
we
was,
know.
what he
We
said, it was near
have
the end of the scenario,
Right.
so it only
From the
recorded
malfunction.
one shot, even though I hit him twice.
Oh,
So, it didn't pick up, because it was kind of like near the end, so it kind of like, I guess, stopped
okay.
recording.
So when they have those scenarios where, what was it, one police officer shot 16 times, and the public thinks that's excessive, is that excessive, or is it?
Situation.
It depends on the officer's
Situation-based.
perception.
Now, the other thing
Yeah.
I'm kind of having a
It's
hard
what
time
the
wrapping my
officer
mind around
perceives.
when we look at the one screen.
So the officer's
If we
perception
have
of what
the
comes
180,
into play there
is this one screen
they-
image
what they perceive as a
widened
threat to
on the 180, or are
themselves or
we
someone
missing
else's
something on the
safety.
outside?
Missing the two
That's
sides
what
of
comes
the
down
screen
to,
right
and
here.
that's that Graham versus
The
Connor.
180 is
um,
10 foot by
case
6.5
that
foot screen.
is
Right.
highly,
There's three of them.
you know,
So
relied
you would
upon when
basically
you
have,
look at
this
these
is 12 by 7, so it's a
situations.
little
Well,
bit
the
bigger.
interesting
But yeah,
thing
you're
to
just
me
missing
is
the
when
two
they
sides.
report these
But
shootings,
what I'm saying though is we taking this
and,
picture that's, the single
police
picture,
officers
this
being
wide
charged,
angle,
whatever.
wide angle.
That's
I've
what-
never
yeah,
heard
So
that we are
it's the
taught
same
to
picture,
shoot
it's
for,
not
what did you
more.
call it, Matt?
Oh,
Left
center
center,
mass.
center mass.
But we're not missing
I never
anything on the
put
side,
that
like
on the
from
news.
this image.
So
No,
right
that's
away,
Okay.
you
We do
think, well,
have
why
a
did he shoot
set
him in
of
the
snares that are
leg,
built
or,
just for the theater
but we don't
snares
hear
because
that.
It does have to take a little bit more of the,
You have to
building
understand that,
aspect of it.
especially when someone's moving.
So,
when you have a
if we're gonna
moving
purchase a
target,
180,
Right,
probably
it's
to
not
get
like
the
the
full
Wild
benefit
West,
of the
where
180
you
degrees,
have the 6 shooters and you're like,
it'd probably be
right,
sensible
and
to
you're hitting
get
the
the,
target every
what was it,
time.
the back,
You know, in
That's
the
the one thing
movies.
I would say.
because
It
that
takes a
changes the
lot
whole
of
dynamic
skill
of
to
the
yeah,
other
be
180,
able
now you're in
to
the full.
point a weapon at something that's
Right.
moving and hit that target.
They see everything move.
So,
It's a whole,
it takes a lot of practice.
Lifelike, like,
Uh,
okay, I'm
and
getting
this
my
is
own
the kind of
point
stuff that
view.
we're doing
So
now
that's why people like
across
it.
the whole
It's
state of
$2,500
Massachusetts
for
is,
an add-on.
that's why they have that second
Not significant.
type of
total
training
cost
session.
of
It's
the
not
picture.
just sitting on the
Yeah.
range,
But for the realism
qualifying
they're
with the
getting out
gun,
is huge.
shooting at a
Exactly.
static
Yeah,
target.
you get verbal
You're actually now doing a lot of
You
moving
get
and
verbal
shooting.
commands
And that's,
to
matter of
the
fact, we
scenario,
just got
and
done
that
with,
actually tracks
in
that
our
mix up.
department,
So
we
it's
have a
like
makeup
you're
day
yelling
coming
at the
up,
screen and that scenario
where
has
we
a-
had a
built-in
practical
order.
session in the
For
fall.
certain verbal
We had
commands
officers
given,
doing
it's gonna go to
moving and
another
shooting
part of the
with
scenario,
our
it'll actually react and
pistols,
go to that.
with
So
our
just like how I'm
rifles
sitting
and
back
our
here clicking
shotguns. Because we
different branching
carry
options, that's
both
how
the
that
real,
works.
the
Right.
rifle and a
But how
shotgun, the
many
cruisers,
shots
and every officer has a pistol.
or
So we have all
cycles
three
does a cartridge last?
firearms
Roughly?
to utilize utilize in whatever situation we
About
needed it.
70 to 75, rifles
But
about
to-
60.
To shoot,
So
to
that's
move
what I'm
and
saying,
shoot
it's
like
not a
that,
quarter of a penny
it's,
per round.
it's
That's
not an
like the
exact
price
science, I
point
mean, it
for
takes a
I
lot
know.
of practice.
Right.
Um,
I just wish the news would
So-
say that you're
This is
taught.
like your.
Yeah, this is
No, yeah, it's, believe
This
me,
is
we
the
too. I
majority
mean,
of the scenarios
probably
you play.
the majority of the public are very ill-informed about what we can and can't do in situations. or what we should and shouldn't do, yeah, they're very.
See over here,
they'll
I got a
come on,
bunch
like
of
when-
different
especially when I grab
options.
onto somebody, they go, you can't touch me.
And I
go,
can throw
"Well,
it
yes."
all.
I go, I know I
So,
can.
these
I
are,
go, I
you
know
know,
exactly, I
you
know
know,
what I'm playing.
Why are you stopping me?
I'm just constantly
And
throwing
a lot of people are very ill
Training's
informed
just
what
sitting up
our
there, just trying to get through this
or what
conference
our
first.
rules of engagement would be.
All right, just wanna know, I mean, all right, fine, thank you. I'd like to explain why I was going so fast. I mean, it's not a good reason, but at least I'd like to give a chance to explain my side. Really, I want to explain my side. I'm a taxpayer, I just want to be able to say what happened, and you're not even, do you even care? What, all it is about getting a citation, moving on to the next person?
Kind of set up on like a circle talk where you can just keep going forever. So you can just keep going and going and going until you hit like the stop point.
No, so down here, this is what's available, depending on how.
Actually, just back out.
What?
It'll tell you just to the right of the plate what weapons, if any, are available. So for this one, nothing.
You wanna do
What if
it?
I go up to like
Yeah,
shooter,
yeah, we're
fire?
gonna try and get them
I go
involved.
to CT.
I was just
One
thinking,
has
so a citizen
OC,
having to react
taser,
and
and
understanding
So just kind of show you what
that,
Bond does.
okay,
So
it
it's a
took me
button. If
16
you
rounds
don't
to
have
even
connect,
get his,
it's a button.
hit this pink.
If you have connect, and
Well, you
you
know,
swing with the top,
There's also,
picks it up.
It's just human factor.
Right.
so,
Just make sure the suit doesn't.
say,
$900 materials.
Yeah.
Oh, the
You
Air
heard him
Force is
earlier, he
terrible.
said
They
there's
destroyed
things
some
you.
of this.
Are you talking to me?
Blood pressure.
What?
Right.
Why?
You got all
Oh,
your
really?
adrenaline going, your blood
Okay.
pressure up.
Did you ever serve?
Right here.
I just got back.
Look into
All
those
this
stupid.
stuff.
But
Wait,
during
is
the
this
day
stupid?
parts, like,
You're my rat. What do you
Sometimes
think?
the human factor takes over, and you're just trying.
What have you done with your
Realize
life? What have you done? What have you done? What have you done for your
Stop
country?
that
You know, I come back and the doctors they tell me, you know,
Try and train, so that
What?
happen. But you might
the
have
doctors,
that-
no, they told me something's wrong with my head, and everybody thinks, nobody will listen to me anymore. Nobody will listen to me.
You're just trying to.
They keep telling me something's wrong. And, hey, don't even look at me like that. What's your problem? Why are you doing this?
They'll smoothly train it.
Okay, look, I'm sorry, all right? Look, I just got back like 2 weeks ago, man. 2 weeks ago.
I'm in that.
I know.
You want to take me on? I'll gut you, man. I will gut you right here. Is this what you want? Is this it? Huh?
I enjoy it though,
I'm coming for you, man. This is it right now. This is it. This.
Yeah, so that one wanted you to deploy a firearm. So,
So now he pulled out a knife, I'm sorry, I missed it.
so the next one's here. This is the CGI side of it. So the marksmanship style training. So you just put up like a regular target and just kind of go up there and shoot. So if you have automatic shooters, you can kind of bring them in here, do some marksmanship drills. You got ones like this, like plates. This is kind of like a target discrimination drill. You got to shoot all the green plates and.
You're good.
No recoil on that one, so it's a lot easier. I had some kid one time. I had the recoil gun, he had the dry fire pistol. He killed me every time. Then we switched. I'm like, yeah, see.
Now, if you fail a weapon, does it still recoil? Or no? Like if I want to fail that AR-15,
Yeah.
so it will just
It'll
like
still do
click?
it, yeah.
It'll still recoil?
They're not tethered by any
Yeah.
means. The only way to really do it now, we used to have these. It was like it was a round counting magazine that we had. It just didn't hold up. One of our competitors, TI, they use it still. It only lasted like 3-4 months of us
Yeah.
continuously using it. It was just jam and break. So we just kind of scrapped it, and we just kept like to the software option of you being able to constantly do it through the software. So yeah,
With-
unfortunately, it's not tethered.
With like the recoil one, let's say you go ahead and program it to jam on them. This, you can't rack this, right?
You can rack that.
Okay, if I rack it, there's nothing gonna happen, so I can have them actually do tap rack
You can definitely do
and
that.
get it back in.
Yep.
What about with the, patrol rifle?
Same thing.
So you take the magazine out,
same
do
function.
tactical reloads and
Oh, yeah.
stuff?
Yep, do the,
Okay.
was it the sports where you slap the magazine, pull, observe, release that, everything, so yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, those are fully functioning ARs and Glocks and everything, so. Yep.
See, that's.
Yeah.
Now, can I put a blank mag in here, so if he uses it, he just goes, nothing will happen?
Good, yeah.
Just put a blank mag, go nothing, so now he has to transition.
Oh, yeah.
So like your first shot's not,
Yeah.
you know, he didn't check the chambers
Yep.
or whatever. Something happened on the first shot, it just goes click, there's no recoil, so now he has to transition.
We do this thing, have any of you guys ever been to that ILETA show in St. Louis, that law enforcement, firearms training thing? We do a competition there every year where we do give them one spent magazine, so when they go through it's like a active shooter drill,
Mhm.
they have to transition, yeah.
Transition.
Yep. So, that's one of the things, so. You get 2 magazines per recoil kit system, so it's something that you could do. You can buy more, but I mean, the 2 for one scenario, you're only shooting a couple times per scenario, so you usually don't have to flip through a bunch of them.
So what does this do, just switch out the?
The bolt.
The bolt?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the laser goes on the barrel.
Right, just like an inline, was a bore sight for that one, so it's lined up, and then same concept for this, you just swap out the barrel, and then the laser just goes right in the barrel replacement. Magazines are obviously different for the milo size, so they can hold the CO2 canisters. One of the other ones for this, a lot of people go through, is the shoot house scenario. I know they put a lot of the recruits through up in Boston PD. Basically, it's you're presented with a couple different targets. One is unarmed with just bare hands. The other 2 are armed with either a knife or a gun. So recruits have to go through this. Officers and about 33 targets, I think. Want to grab one of the pistols? You go through this.
Do you ladies want to try it all?
Mhm.
All right, here you go.
Oh,
You want
okay. Well, he's.
Yeah, you can both. You can have multiple shooters on this one.
Okay.
Point and shoot at the target, you see it pop up.
How do I know? I won't know till.
Do you know how to use the sights on the gun?
Oh,
no. Yep.
this.
Yep.
I forgot. I just did this once with Peter, so.
No one ever gets those guys. Like, just duck behind the wall.
How do we know who?
For this one, it'll tell you at the end.
Oh,
All shots. Yeah, but for these CGI ones, it actually doesn't tell you between the differential two. That's only during the live film where it can tell you who shot where and when, for multiple people.
It's amazing how heavy these get.
So the last thing I want to show you guys is the firing range application.
Hey, you want to try?
Go ahead.
Alright, so if you could take that pistol
She
and fire
didn't-
3 times the bullseye. And then shoot in the white hole. Second pass. Alright, so I'm going to open up a quick course of firing for you, just so you kind of see how this is operating. So this is the slide portion. So again, you're going to have the students for this system, because I have it set at 5 yards, 15 feet from the screen. So the slide presents itself, it tells the students what the firing iteration is, how many times they're gonna fire, what the duration, what the distance is, and then the stage appears with the target. overview of what happened during that course of fire. So I'd say for cost saving factor, outside of like the savings on like ammo for just like use of force and like setting up scenarios and stuff like that, where you can actually set up multiple scenarios, and there's a lot of time and money and effort that goes into those things, but you have them right here in the system. This part helps you save on range time and ammo, because after it's all said and done, you can actually go through shot by shot with the after action review. So if you guys can see right here, this is the report. So per stage, you can actually see how the shots were. It does like a little shot grouping and everything. So that's second, third, fourth, fifth, 6 shots. So what you can do with that, if you're having problematic shooters, bring them in here. It's like a firearms diagnostic unit where you can actually come in here with the recoil gun, which isn't live fire, but it's still similar to the concept. They still have to realign their sight picture and sight alignment with the gun and everything. So they're going through the basics there. So.
Oh, believe me, the chief would love this if we could just qualify with this.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Massachusetts case law, I think they'd be like, no, you gotta
Yeah.
shoot real ammo.
The Army actually bought a couple of these for their medics because they were having such a hard time trying to qualify with the Berettas. So they're like, you know what, they saw this application, they're like, this is what we need. That's all they use it for. So just the firing range side right here. And then going into the next part.
What is the difference?
It has
It
recoil.
has recoil.
Oh,
So it's almost like a real firearm, it has just a little bit of a kick to it.
If
So
you
does he
see
know
right
how to
here, it gives
shoot?
you the shot time from the start of the course fire, and then the split time in between the 2 times as well. So
Oh, yeah.
gives you all that information. And the point scale.
may I shoot the other one?
Yep.
Okay, it's not gonna interrupt?
Let me start that.
Oh, you don't have to go through the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, so you can do two
Shooters,
shooters?
4, 6, 8.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
you can have multiple.
Put
For
people
the-
all on the line.
the Theater 180, I've seen up to 16. Actually, I'm sorry.
You look the part now,
12.
Kathleen.
So,
You put your
do a lot.
glasses on so you can see the
Sure.
distance.
Wow.
6 rounds.
6 rounds. It's funny, the first one, I wait for the recoil, I'm like,
Yeah.
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 what are we doing?
14.
14 rounds.
Shots running off to the left. Yeah, so when you first start the system up, that thing that I did where I shot the screen, it was like a silhouette 4 times each gun, that's the thing you have to do at the beginning of the day. That just assigns the guns to the trainees and make sure
We can't do. So 6 strong hand would be your right hand, and then 6 left hand.
Oh, so do I have to switch hands?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you do one hand like this.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay.
no pressure.
Left here.
So every time you change out a gun, it's 0.
This, typically what we see is, we'll have the firearms instructors zero the guns. Never let the students do it, because there's no difference, because on these pistols and everything, it's not like an optic or anything where it'll throw it off, left or right. All the zeroing does is just on the gun with a laser. Same thing as the bullet leaving the barrel. So, as long as you're not shooting at the right distance, there's no like weird offset where it's like
Oops.
the drop with the
I don't
bullets
have
and stuff
anything
like
left.
that, so.
My gun doesn't
All out of ammo.
fall out. I'm dead, guys. It's out.
Oh, the CO2's out?
Oh, something's out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting a little low. Yeah, that should be good.
There you go.
This is still left hand.
Well, when I saw it shooting up to the top
Yeah.
right there, I started.
Now, how far back can this table be? Can it be all the way to the back of the room? You
So-
have plenty of room?
You're really kind of maxed out with the cords.
Okay.
So this system right here, and also the projector, you can't have it so far back because then you'll overcast on the projector screen.
Okay,
So 15 to 18 feet is roughly what we set up our single screen systems at. For the theater systems, it's a whole different setup.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something you guys have to
Yeah.
worry about
I'm
too.
just thinking about how much moving can the shooter do
Oh, yeah,
between you and the screen?
yeah.
You know, because I know sometimes we've set up like tables and stuff,
Mhm.
so after they shoot, they kind of go to cover
Cover,
and
yeah.
things like that, you know?
Yeah,
When we had the FATS machine.
when you do this, you gotta have to, I've seen like yellow tape put on the
Yeah.
ground and stuff like that, where you have to cone out the area where you can't cross in, because then you'll start cutting the projector image, and
Yeah.
also the lasers won't be detected by the cameras, and the
Okay.
flashlight beam too, so that's the big things. So, yeah, that's the gist for the whole Milo system, so the live film, CGI, and then the shooting range one. So, you guys have any questions? I wanna check out the system here for a little while longer.
So in other words, we're not gonna have the participants in front of that,
Nope.
correct?
You gotta
Yeah.
kind of cone off like the projector.
Unless you mount it. So if you mount the projector and camera system,
Like that? Like,
yeah, just like
see
that. You can get probably 8 to 9 feet from the screen, and you can walk right in front of it, underneath it, and stuff like that. So unless you have that guy that's like 6'10", then that's the
Is
downside.
the 180 screen, is that because those are mounted up behind it?
Those are rear.
So
Yep.
you can get right up in there?
Right up to it, yeah.
Okay.
As long as you're not blocking the cameras, which is really hard to do because we set them on a high angle, so they're looking right down at the screen from above. It's really hard. Usually people are getting like 3-4 feet from that screen to be able to shoot.
Now, what about like a night mode or something? How's that?
For this one?
Yeah.
Actually, this is one. So it's kind of like the darkness setting and everything. And then this one, this is
a range night
yeah.
mode.
This is for like the military, because you can actually shoot flares off and stuff like that, but they do. Yeah, unfortunately, flashlights don't work. We haven't integrated that into the fire range side yet. So that's only during some of the CGI scenarios and all the live film ones.
And the lights on the guns work? Because I know you got some guys who have lights on the guns
Yeah.
and some don't. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the own officer's like
Discretion.
Like
Yeah.
if you want a light on your gun, you can put a light on your gun.
Gotcha.
And other guys are gonna be, you know, like
Yeah.
this. And of course, we want guys to, whatever light they're
Right.
using.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a light on your gun, you're gonna have to be shooting like this.
Oh, yeah.
And guys who have lights on the gun,
Yeah, see, I carry a light on mine.
Yeah.
Are they like TLR ones?
Yeah,
threes?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that one's a TLR one too, so.
Yeah.
All it is, it's a filter that we have to swap out on the camera system. You just let us know what you guys have, and
Yeah.
then it'll work.
so
with-
we'd have to do kind of both. That's the only thing we are lacking, I think, with a lot of the night shooting. And whatever the officer has is, that's what you gotta use for,
Mhm.
you know, the Coast Guard range was great because we just shut the lights off. But a lot of times
Right.
we're doing the range in the daytime. Now that we're going to Mashpee, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we really don't have good night
Nighttime
shooting,
stuff.
nighttime stuff, you know?
What's possible? Can you guys shoot?
We have the trailer, we do allow a little light in, which
Yeah.
is great, but, I mean,
That's where we.
Now, do you use your outdoor range at all anymore?
our range goes online this
Have you
fall.
ever shot like this?
Back online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been down for
Years,
going
you know?
to 6 years now,
Mashpee
but it's gonna be law enforcement only, so I mean.
It's gonna be, because I know
Yeah.
we used to be able to go.
Yeah, so.
As individuals, we had.
We could
you know,
switch
Right, you had your,
Yeah.
yeah, right. No, the public's,
Try and figure out the nightmare of doing it that way.
we're gonna run through law enforcement only for the
Especially
first
when
year,
you're working with
and then the
signs
town's
and
gonna
stuff.
reevaluate, basically kind of take note of the surrounding area, what people are thinking, and
Right.
then decide what they wanna do with the public, but I really don't think they're gonna do it for the public, only because it's gonna be a huge,
Right.
how to say, part of my language. You know,
Yeah.
but we will be up and running in the fall, but.
They have to clean everything out, I assume?
Yeah, so you're talking like, you know, they were talking about either shut down the range and it was like an $8 million cleanup,
Jeez.
or just go in and scrape everything,
Yeah.
drop new sand down, and law enforcement only,
Gotcha.
so.
Yeah, hear that quite often.
Right, right.
Yeah,
It's
it
normal now.
happens, yeah, so. Yeah, it's the unfortunate side with the light exposure and ocean gets involved, so. You guys wanna shoot on some other scenarios and, I mean, for you guys, you should play a scenario.
Now,
Oh, a scenario?
what do we look, you're saying like the low light shooting?
I will.
Um,
See, cause you'll.
The
Yeah.
scenarios themselves,
Just
are capable
even though
of.